What did you see out in South Memphis today? Black, white, brown, yellow, gay, straight, old, young, no, cops, robbers, drug dealers, prostitutes, and we're all out there getting along. Where is the hate and division that your television makes us believe is everywhere? It's not real. It is manufactured, and if we buy into it, it becomes real. But if you just set that aside and go meet your neighbor where they're at and try to just connect on a human level, we are wired for that as a species. We are wired to connect with another human being, and it's innate in all of us, regardless of race, creed, color, background, religion. None of that matters.
I find myself currently in Memphis, Tennessee, and here I'm attending an event hosted by Ben and Jess Owen, where they just do what they do best, give back to the community. I believe they're going to even give some food out. There's already a huge line. People are pouring in. The We Fight Monsters logos, I see them everywhere. There's a big truck of donations here behind us. And just let's check out the scene. I need to find Ben and Jess. I don't think people sometimes understand just putting up a simple thing, what it all involves. There's a lot of moving parts. There's people coordinating, people driving up with things to unload. There's the coordination of handing out the goods and all that. But I think I see Jess over here. So Jess is Owen's wife. And there's a reason I flew down here to Memphis. What's up, Ben?
Hey! How's it going, man?
Good, my brother. How are you?
I'm fucking exhausted. How are you?
I imagine. I can imagine that.
You flying last night or this morning?
No, last night I landed like around 9:30.
Where are you staying?
Well, have some Hilton in downtown Memphis right there.
Okay. This is your first time in Memphis?
Yeah. Oh, my second one. The first time I was driving from Pennsylvania back to Texas.
Okay.
Been a little pit stop and that's it.
Well, welcome to this 38106.
I appreciate that. Thank you for the love, man. I really see a lot of moving parts here.
It's garbage.
Yeah, no, you gotta look, man.
Hey, my boy strapped up. My boy ready. My boy ready. My boy ready. I bet you haven't gotten any sleep, huh?
No, dude, 15-hour drive yesterday.
Nice to meet you, Jacopo.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me in Memphis.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the love. Appreciate y'all having me here. Thank you so much.
Dude, we're glad you're here, man.
I couldn't, man. And last time I know some things happen, logistics and stuff, and I know y'all are getting, honestly, y'all are getting busier and busier as things go move along.
Well, we have been. I think 2026, Jess and I are going to slow down. Not saying this is going to slow down. This will keep going. We got Casey now. You know, when you and I first talked, we didn't have her.
Yeah.
Me and Jess doing everything. Now we got Casey kind of running the show. We got Tiffany running all the women's houses. And we got Robert managing all the men's side. We got the right people in places.
Good.
Finally.
Hey, Ben, so how did this all come about? Like, how long have you been doing this? And I see like a pit over there. I see toys over here. Just let me know a little what's going on here.
7 years ago, Jess and I were homeless in this exact parking lot. You know, shooting dope, smoking dope, picking up cigarette butts. I mean, like, bottom of the barrel homeless out here. And we had a foxhole prayer that if God got us out of hell together, we would come back for everybody left behind. And we got clean in 2019, and here we are.
Oh, wow.
we tend to overdo everything. So when I say the people we left behind, you know, all our friends back then were dope boys and prostitutes, and at this point we've kept that promise. Like, they're either clean. Several of them are here serving food right now. They've gotten out of the dope game, or they're dead or in prison. And that's just the shitty reality, you know. But Jess and I learned through the process of coming back and trying to be of service that doing this work keeps us sober. And we get to pull some badass people. Come on. Get to pull some badass people out of the gutter, man. This is my man Fila.
What's up?
Me and this man used to be out there in the thick of it together.
What's going on?
There's been one event of many that Jess and Ben kind of put together, right? To say the least, they have their hands on a lot of things. What is their placement in the community here in Memphis of Jess and Ben?
I've known Ben for, I don't know, he's my first boss back in the day.
Oh,
so,
okay.
I've known Ben forever, and I saw his rise and his fall and his subsequent fall, and now where he's at. And man, he's brought this area specifically together. I mean, it's crazy. We got a couple houses over there on the Melrose, and like that area has gone from like a huge crime area to no crime on that street whatsoever. It's incredible what this grassroots movement that they are running behind can do. Ben's obviously like, he never stops and just keeps going. I don't know how one person has that much energy, but it's impressive.
Oh, well, I appreciate it.
Here's
Thank
what's
you.
cool. The world looks for heroes. And often the governments, the corporations, they pay for heroes. What I think Ben represents for this community, Ben and Jess both were just in the community. They weren't bought and paid for, set up. They fought their way up. They were given help, and now they're coming back to help the community. And I think that's why people love it, is they feel how real it is. They're grassroots. They grew up in it.
Yeah.
They were in hell in it with everybody.
Wow.
And they said, no, there's a different way. And God came in and picked them up and said, here's the different way, but I want you to go back and find more people. And I think that's why the people love it. They feel it. It's real.
A lot of people are probably watching us in their respective cities. I'm from Houston, Texas, but it could be Atlanta, it could be California. What does it take to organize something like this?
You need a big heart, and you need to find people with a heart as big as yours. You find that, and that's the spark. Everything else kind of falls in place after that. It's not going to be clean. It's not going to always look the way you want it to. But when you keep your eye on the prize, my goal here for this event every year is smiles on faces. Right? Everything else is peripheral to that goal. And when you just focus on that, that's when it all happens. That's when you get all the people that have come out here to chip in their time, their money, their energy into making what is typically not a very hopeful place full of joy.
About how long does it take to plan?
Probably like a few months, really. You know, we're ex-crackheads, man, so we can just jump into something and do it. But the planning, like, you know, we put on Amazon, like, wish list, we put it on social, so like a month ahead of time we'll do that just to get the toys coming in. But really, and Casey, she's our main one. She's kind of taken over my role a little bit so I can be at home more. But I'd say about a month or two, probably about the last month, really. But really, the last 2 weeks is when everything just go, go, go. We have to find what we're using, put them in totes, get everything ready at the warehouse.
I've heard you're the pulse to not only We Find Monsters, but overall what Jess and Ben are doing. Everybody that we've asked has brought up your name.
I don't know about that. I am the chaos coordinator.
Really? Why is that?
You see all the chaos? It's got to be coordinated. If not, it's just wild animals out here.
So how did you come in the picture?
So Brad Bell, who actually is driving the A-Team Cybertruck, who's smoking some of the meat, him and my husband are best friends, and they have this group of barbecue competition team called Second Chance Smokers. Their slogan is smoke meat, not meth. Both of them were addicts, they're in recovery, and they use that as a networking group to show people what recovery can look like when you don't need drugs. You can still have fun, you can still do really cool things. So Brad actually used to volunteer at the very first Christmas event that was held across the street. Very small, wasn't half as many people, and he called us one day. He was like, hey, they're about to do another event, will y'all come and volunteer? We had just experienced a little church hurt, and so I was like, we need to do something that's more fulfilling, more wholesome, be the hands and feet of Jesus in a different way. So we came and volunteered, and I watched Ben and Jess, and I was like, that's what service looks like. I want to look like that. And
So you and I have been coordinating this, right? Oh, you've been coordinating it. We've been back and forth, and I know it gets really busy, and I appreciate your time, your attention. I know you get pulled 1,000 different ways, right? Before you and I had this interaction, Ben and I had spoken because of some issues on my end. I really couldn't make it out and fly in like I did today, but I just want to tell you that I appreciate everything you've done.
I'm glad that y'all are here. I appreciate y'all being here and the interest in the mission, because it takes really one person being interested in what we're doing in order for it to grow. Like, a lot of people just like, hey, I want to know about you. This is the best time to learn who we are, learn the heart of the mission, see the community, see why it's so important for us to make Soulsville great again. Because this is one of the deadliest zip codes. You can't tell on days like today that this is the deadliest zip code, because community is gathering without any drama, no strings attached, no violence. We don't ever really have police here. Police come here to hang out. Like, they're not here to police. They're just here to hang out.
What does this mean for your city? Like, what impact does this make on having your mind when you see people do this?
It's a good look because I come from this. I'm from the hood, and giving back to kids is unfortunate. They always look back and be grateful, especially around the holiday season. So it's a good look for the city. Good look for the city.
And I know you coming from this city and you understand a lot of things. You just showing up, bro. You just being out there. People see that, especially the young ones. And
yeah, you can ask my guy over there. I'm all for this. I'm always in the hood. Like I said, I'm 10 minutes down the road.
There's no hesitation in what we do here, and there's actually some people that I'm taking after this is over to go get treatment. They say you got to hit your rock bottom. Well, sometimes rock bottom has a basement for people.
I know that you and Ben and Jess have history together and all of that, but you knowing them so intimately, y'all helping each other and throughout this journey. What is the symbol of not only Ben and Jess, but the whole We Fight Monsters team and everybody that is giving back out to the community?
It's a great thing because see, what we do is not only house and take people into treatment. They're there for them financially, spiritually, just monetary if they really need it. You know what I'm saying? They help people get houses, places to stay, and they'll work with you. They ain't gonna put you back out on the streets where you came from. Just because you're in your addiction, it doesn't matter. Dollars are human beings at the end of the day, and everybody needs love, and that's what they show, unconditional love. Because when I was out there, that's what brought me back in, was being on. So my hat goes out to him because I was looking at 30 years. So without him, I'd probably be doing them 30 years. He's like a brother to me. He is my brother.
What impact do you see on the community here by people that maybe don't know who Jess
people come together?
Are?
Because a lot of people that's out here, we wouldn't mix. But with God, and it's in God's will, it goes smoothly. I mean, you see the smiles on the children's face and the people's face. Because some people don't have this. Some people don't even have Christmas gifts for their kids. So for him to be giving like this, this is a great blessing to our community. And others need to follow suit to help bring it. He'll never change everything, but the little bit that he does change makes a difference.
Hello everybody, welcome to Star Motivation. Once again, bringing you the most motivational, inspirational, gut-wrenching stories of people that are doing something greater than what they envisioned. Something that benefits not only our communities, but the world. Today, I find myself with Ben and Jessica Owen. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all's time.
Dude, we appreciate you, man, very much.
I'll tell you what, landing in Memphis really it's something a little different. I've never been to this airport. I've been to Memphis on my way to Texas, but I kind of got a little lost there for a second. They couldn't find me. My Uber couldn't. So that was a good welcome. I know that a lot of things that kind of have evolved from the beginning since y'all two met have turned into different, have taken shape. You have hands on nonprofits. Y'all have even gotten closer to y'all's faith. But really, I just want to go back to how you grew up, Ben, if you don't mind. Yeah, you were a military baby, right?
I was born at Fort Campbell. My dad was an infantry officer. My mom was an industrial engineer. Had pretty much a perfect childhood. My parents are still married, great parents. We moved around a lot. And I guess one of those moves, when we moved out to Southern California from Mississippi, I just snapped. Like, for absolutely no reason. I went from, a straight A kid to drinking, fucking, drugs, like, overnight. At 13 years old, I just turned into a giant pain in my parents' ass.
There was no particular situation or person?
There was nothing. I mean, I don't know. You know, in hindsight, I think my parents definitely let me spend way too much time with my girlfriend. And at 12, 13, like I had a very codependent, unhealthy relationship. And so when we left Mississippi, where I'd been for 7 years, so at that point over half my life, and this is after, you know, living in 3 states in first grade alone, I had just gotten very unhealthily attached, and I just went off the rails.
Wow, so just like that.
Just like that, man.
Because I think a lot of times people have the misconception that there was this one event, this one person that kind of pushed you or got you to follow this path, but sometimes it could be random, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like brewing in my head for, you know, months before we left. I was battling anxiety and depression, and yeah, man, I was a kid. I didn't know any of that terminology, but looking back, I could see it. Like the stage was set for insanity to start, and when we moved, it just took off.
I heard you were a little bright kid, little super kid.
Yeah, I was a little nerd. Like when I was 10, I was writing letters back and forth with the president of Harvard. When I was 12, I did a clinical study at the University of Mississippi that ended up winning first place in the state science fair, and then went on to get published in the journal Neurology when I was 14. What's funny about that is when that study actually got published, I was locked up in rehab for the first time.
So while you were locked up, this is getting
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how quick I went downhill. Like before this study could even make it into, you know, a peer-reviewed journal, I had moved and gotten locked up.
Wow. I'm pretty sure people didn't believe you when you said, hey.
I don't think I even knew it happened.
Really?
Until later. Yeah, like I was not worried about that at that point in time. You know, I don't remember exactly how it all played out. I got caught drinking or smoking weed or something, but I mean, I was doing meth already at this point. You know, I don't think my parents knew that part. And so they sent me to this residential treatment place I was supposed to be there for 10 days. And I turned a 10-day stay into 90 days because I kept running away from it. Like I figured out that once you're out the door, they can't put their hands on you. And I was a fast little kid. And so I kept running away from this place, and eventually ended up getting myself sent to one of those places in Utah that they just made all the Netflix documentaries about. Yeah, wow. And I figured out like day one at that place, I don't think I'm going to try to run from this one because they'll chase you, and they're big. They're big. These places run by like these giant Mormon guys. So I sat down and shut up when I got there. But yeah, I mean, you're asked about childhood. This is the thing about addiction. It does not discriminate, right? I had just idyllic childhood. You can pick it apart, and I've had people try to do this, like therapists over the years, that, you know, like want to blame the fact that I moved around all the time, or that, you know, maybe because my dad's a military guy, I wasn't emotional. It's all BS, dude. I just snapped. I wanted to do what I wanted to do, and I wasn't really concerned about consequences. And, you know, if you look at my childhood and I was a little prodigy. I should have gone on to become the next Doogie Howser, you know, and instead that addiction gene kicked in, and that, I mean, well, the rest is history.
Was your father, I don't want to say strict, but did he have high expectations as far as your ethics and how you carry yourself and all of that?
Yeah, I mean, Dad always had very high standards. He still does, and I'm super grateful for that, because once I got my head pulled out of my own ass, like I'm able to actually show up and be the man I'm supposed to be. It was never overbearing. You know, he was not your typical military dad. Like my dad's absolutely amazing. He always was. You know, he was our scoutmaster, our t-ball coach, like Sunday school teacher. Like he was there for everything. You know, I really did have a perfect childhood.
Well, it's just like you said. It's just sometimes you just want to do what you want to do as a kid, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't, and it's crazy. I'm sure people come to you, or I don't want to say the experts, but people that study these kinds of occurrences, and you're like, nah, bro.
Yeah, I'll have people try to tell me, like even when we were writing our book, I feel like one of the, I don't want to say her name, but she, you know, she's like, oh no, I see how. I'm like, no, that's making excuses. I don't know. I am a firm believer in radical ownership of my actions. I and only I can control what I do and how I react to anything, any circumstance. And I try to apply that philosophy to myself in retrospect too. So I'm not about to blame anybody else for the choices I made. Every bad situation I have ever found myself in, without exception, I think I put myself in. You know, like I was the one in control of all those bad decisions.
I agree that we take that step, right, towards whatever direction that is, and whether you slip up and fall, that's your step you took, right?
Yep.
Thank you so much for that, Ben. Jess, Arkansas, right, for you?
Arkansas, yes. So I grew up in the church, like at first. My mom and we were in the church all the time. Like my dad played Joseph, my mom played Mary. We were in it. You know, I was raised off Christian music, you know, so I always had a firm foundation in Christ. I mean, since I was little bitty. And then when we were 8, we moved from Arkansas to Memphis when I was 8. And then when we moved to Memphis, that was it. Like something snapped in my mom. And she had always done a little drinking, you know, but she like kept it under control. When we moved to Memphis, something just snapped, and she like her alcoholism went full force. And so I went from having this very Christian, you know, chorus singing mom who was there for everything to she just turned violent. I mean, like very violent. I mean, beating the shit out of me and my brother and my sister. And I'm the oldest, right? So, and I don't know what the hell's going on at this point. So I'm just like trying to do anything I can to keep the peace and to take care of my brother and my sister. But at the same time, I'm 8 years old, you know. Now, it didn't really get bad till I was about 9 or 10. That's when it started getting really violent. And she started working at the post office, and she would come home. She'd have a bad day at work, and she'd get drunk, and we already knew what was coming. You know, we even had like a little thing. We had rooms, me and my brother, we'd like knock on the wall to let each other know, Mama's coming. Get your shit ready. Be ready to fight. And so that was my childhood kind of growing up, and it turned into a crack addiction for my mom. So she went from violent alcoholic to, at about 13, 14 years old, she turned to crack. And that was her thing, alcohol and crack, which a lot of people don't know this. When both are inside of you, alcohol and crack, it gets synthesized into a whole new drug. It's the only drug that your body can make, and it's called cocaethylene. So that's essentially what she was really addicted to. So alcohol, crack, and really anything she could get her hands on. And I mean, she'd have a table full of, you know, prescription drugs. She had her crack. There's always alcohol everywhere. So that's the way I grew up. It was completely different from Ben's childhood. And my dad was in the picture. Like my dad never left, but he had to survive her, you know. And now I am at the age that he was when he was going through all of this, you know. So now I kind of understand a little bit more. He just had to mentally check out in order to survive her. So he was there in person, and he did as much as he could to try to help us, you know, but he was pretty much checked out. So it was kind of just us, which, you know, it sucked a lot. It did. We were fighters. We learned how to fight, you know, we learned how to survive. But when childhood is pure survival, that'll mess you up a little bit. And so, you know, like we grew up not having much because, and I've been on crack, so I can tell you this personally, when you are on crack, that is all that matters. You don't care for food in the house. You don't care what your kids need. You don't care if they have clothes for school. That next hit is all that matters. So like my dad would go, you know, buy groceries for us and go to work. She would take all the groceries back to Kroger to get crack money, you know, so we never have food in the house. Me and my brother would go, they had like this lost and found behind the stage in the cafeteria at school. So like me and my brother would go to the lost and found and we'd get clothes, you know, that's how we would, you know, it is what it is. It made us resourceful. We figured out how to get shit done.
Heck yeah.
But that was, you know, at age 13, I believe, that's when I started smoking weed, started getting into stuff. I just wanted to numb myself. You know, I didn't want to feel any of that shit anymore. So that ended up leading to everything else, prescription drugs. I think I was smoking meth by the time I was 16. You know, that led further and further down that addicted life. Sometimes I would just leave my house and go hitchhike. just to get away, just to do something, because I didn't even care if I lived or died at that point. I was probably 16, 17, and I would just walk up and down the neighborhood just hitchhiking. And like if you pulled over to ask if I needed a ride and you had some drugs in your car, bitch, I was getting in that car. By the grace of God, nothing happened to me, thank God. That was really dangerous though, but that was my childhood.
Wow. You had to step up early for your siblings, right? Now, did you have once you got already in the different spot on your own, did you have a hard time not like leaning on other people, kind of like feeling a little vulnerable because you accepted that?
I'm still like that to this day. I'm going to do it on my own. Like if I have to walk 2 miles on my own, I will do that so I don't have to ask for any help. And that's not a good thing. You know, they always say you should be able to ask for help. You should ask for help. And it's been hard. There's a lot of times where it has caused strain, even on our marriage, because I'm like, no, I will do it myself. And you know, with this many houses, and like we have halfway houses, we have the nonprofits, sometimes Ben's like, bitch, you have to ask for help. And I finally have. Now we have Casey and Cody that y'all met at the event. And that's the first time we've really just kind of given the reins over. And I've been okay giving control to somebody else. But like, yes, what you said, just growing up like that, I have to be in control. I'm not asking for help. And that's, I think that is because of how I was raised.
And your situation was totally different, right? But the way I grew up with my dad, not in comparison, right? But I always was the same way, like me, I'll figure it out. And I have this good buddy of mine named Joel Garza, and he said, hey man, do you know that that's not the way God intended us to function, right? It being you having comrade, a community, the praying, the gathering, right? And I think now that you're at this point in your life, I know you know the meaning of that, your tribe per se, right?
Yeah. That's definitely what it comes
Absolutely.
down to,
And we're social creatures. I mean, God created us to need other people, to be there for other people. And I'm starting to lean into that more. It's just taking me a little bit more time.
It's just based on what she just told you, her childhood, and then obviously our entire background. Trust is a hard thing for her. You know, it's hard for her to trust anybody. If you're going to relinquish control of something that is deeply meaningful to you as this work is, you got to trust that person. You got to know their heart, and you got to have, faith in their ability to actually follow through and do it correctly. This work will take everything you have and leave you with nothing. And if you go into it and if you don't realize what you're getting into, you're going to burn out really fast. And I think that has been probably one of the hardest things for us to be able to give up the reins, so to speak. It's not just that we don't trust somebody. It's not just that we don't think they're going to do it right. We don't know what it's going to do to them. Like we deal with a lot of death. We deal with a lot of suffering. We see some of the most depraved things that human beings can witness. And it's right here on the streets of America. And that like adds an extra layer of difficulty to watching it. And so when we're trying to bring other people into this work and let them shoulder the load with us, there's a big part of us that's like afraid of, what am I going to do to this person by letting them behind the curtain of this? What's it going to do to their marriage? What's it going to do to their sleep schedule? So while the childhood in the background definitely plays into that control freak aspect, it's been this whole other complex layer of learning the right kind of people to bring into the work, the right backgrounds, the right mentality. I just went on a rabbit hole there, but welcome to my ADHD, sir. You're gonna get plenty of that today.
I'll walk it gladly, man. I'm happy. But I noticed that you're on some tactical stuff that you're wearing and all of that. So you serve for our country post 9/11, right?
Barely. I was in ROTC at Auburn. I've always tried to just become my dad. I wanted to follow in his footsteps. And so I was out on a little over a year into ROTC, I guess. It's 4 years. You commission as an officer, and then you go in active duty. And it was a little over a year into it when the towers came down. I was drinking myself out of college already. I was about to lose my scholarship. I had come back to being a nerd and finished high school and got math scholarship to Auburn, but I was about to drink my way out. And so when the towers came down, I was like, well, I'm already going to go in when I'm out of college anyway. I'm just going to drop out and enlist, and that way nobody's going to be mad at me when I flunk out because I can't stop drinking. So, in my twisted way of thinking at the time, I thought enlisting in the infantry is going to help me get sober. And so when I went to MEPS, military entrance processing, I lied about, I've never been to rehab, I've never done drugs, I've never broken a bone. Meanwhile, I've broken like every bone I have, and I currently had no ACL in my left knee, which is a problem when you're in the infantry where you do a lot of running. And so I lied about all of that just to get in because I didn't want to have to do the waiver process. And that ACL injury ended up coming back to bite me in the ass about a year later. So the end of summer 2002, I broke my leg. They figured out I lied at MEPS. They're like, yeah, you can't be in the Army until you get that fixed. And so I was honorably discharged, but with no benefits or anything. And then by the time I did get it addressed, I was married with a kid. She's like, you're not going back in the Army. So I tried. I get an A for effort, right? I lied to get in. That's better than draft dodging.
Hey, you got in there somehow.
Yeah. I really did want to though, but I got to come back 20 years later and play military guy with the Afghan evacuation and Ukraine and Haiti and like all this other weird stuff we're doing. It's weird how
So you were extracting people?
We ran. So when Afghanistan collapsed in 2021, we got hit up. I guess it was about a month before the Taliban took Kabul. And asked to help run data intelligence. That's what I'd actually do for a living for the evacuation. And we ended up just going full force into it. Like by the end of it, we were running a network of almost 70 safe houses. I don't know how many direct evacuations we did. Hell, we've got a girl from Afghanistan that we got here living in my house right now. Oh, wow. Yeah, like putting her through college. We tend to overdo everything we do. Yeah,
it's the addict way.
It's the addict way, man. But it was that Afghan evacuation, I think, that really just changed everything for us because we got pulled into an opportunity to really put service into action. And if you're familiar with 12-step recovery, like Alcoholics Anonymous, like that's what it all comes down to. It's be of service to your fellow human being. That's how we stay sober. And that evacuation taught us that like a couple of crackheads from South Memphis think outside the box in ways that can really be leveraged to do some amazing things. And we've kind of, I guess, spent the last 4.5 years like pushing the limits of what can't we affect change in, And so it's weird how that worked out. Like my life kind of derailed the first time I tried to do Afghanistan by enlisting the wrong way. And then it got back on the rails 20 years later by Afghanistan. I don't know, have I ever thought about that?
Yeah.
Okay. That's neat.
It's like full circle moment.
It's full circle, man.
Full circle.
Except this time, it was all about saving lives. And in the beginning, it was all out of anger. I wanted to go back and like exact revenge. And it's my dad was in New York when the towers came down. Like it scared the hell out of us. But then 20 years later, it's like we're trying to save as many Afghans as we can. And we did. I mean, we saved a lot of really good people.
So what was like one of the toughest situations that you faced over there doing that kind of op? You're like, man, I don't even know how we did that.
So there's, I guess, a couple of different kinds of tough. One was, I don't know how we're going to pull this off, and that was the entire thing. Like we had former secretaries of state calling us, asking us, hey, I heard you did this. Can you get my guy out? And I'm like, I'm a crackhead from South Memphis. You're former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice. What are we doing? There's a lot of that. And we were able to pull off a lot of miracles that like I have no logical way to explain how they happened. It's just networking, ending up with the right people. The girl that lives in our house, her story, and I'll let you tell that one because it's yours. But the other kind of tough is the failures. I've been sent a video of the Taliban raping one of our women. I had a commando up in Kunduz get captured, and the Taliban gave him his phone and let him send me a voice note before they killed him, asking me to take care of his wife and kids. I have no idea how to reach his wife and kids, and I doubt they're even alive. And so there were a lot of those. We had a girl in one of our ops rooms. They shot her guy. They made her guy call her so they could execute him while she was on the phone with him. There's that kind of hard, and we had a lot of that. We had one girl who was like 4 or 5 months pregnant when the Taliban took Kabul. We were able to evacuate her to Kyiv, Ukraine. And if you did that math real quick, you can already guess where this is going. As Russia is invading Ukraine and we're trying to evacuate her to Poland, she goes into labor, gives birth to a baby just on the other side of the Polish border. And what was really weird is when this happened, we were in Houston resettling her brother, who he had gotten here from Afghanistan.
Oh, your brother lives in Houston?
No, not her brother. The Afghan lady's brother.
Oh, wow.
He's an embassy bodyguard in Badakhshan.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he's your neighbor in Houston now. We actually resettled a lot of really good Afghans in Houston, a lot of them. We drained our kids' college savings in the evacuation, trying to afford safe houses, food packages, like transport, all of it. Like it was very expensive. And so around December, we had moved a lot of Afghans from Kabul. No, it was before December. We'd moved a lot of Afghans from Kabul where the Taliban was super heavy. The airport was shut down. We knew we weren't getting anybody out. And there had been a rumor that we could get flights out of Mazar Sharif. And we pulled it off a time or two. Mm-hmm. But we had moved a ton of Afghans from Kabul over to Mazar. And the Taliban had taken their homes. These people are completely dependent on us for everything. And we couldn't afford it. Like, we started going broke. So we're trying to find jobs for these guys. We're trying to find them housing. And we're trying to keep them all alive and safe while we're running out of money. So we're having to start shutting safe houses down as we're able to get these people squared away or out. And it was the day before Christmas of 2021, she gets this message from this little Hazara girl. So Hazara is an ethnic minority in Afghanistan that the Pashtun majority there's a genocide against them. They're trying to get rid of all of them. And her dad had been a commando, so served with our Green Berets for her entire life. And they're asking for a safe house. And I was like, I can't, no. And Jess was like, what, here, you tell it.
So and like everybody messages on WhatsApp. So you open up WhatsApp and you've got like 3,000 messages from all kinds of Afghans, right? And we had been doing this for a little while. Like this started in August, right? Afghanistan fell August 15th, 2021. So since August, we had been getting, message after message after message, and we were burning out at this point. We had spent all of our money. We'd spent all of our kids' college money. So when I get this message in December, it's our girl, and she sent a message about this long, and it was like, please help us. I am in a room. I'm in a tiny room with 8 people. They want to kill my family. My dad was commando, and I get these messages all day long at this point. And I just look and I'm just like, not another one, because at this point we're broken down at this point. Like we just can't. And so I'm just sitting on the couch. I'm like, I just don't want to anymore. And I told her, we don't have any money left. Like we don't have any safe houses. Like we had started shutting down our safe houses at this point because we just couldn't afford them. And she's like, can you please do something? They're going to kill my family. Because her dad was wanted. Their entire family had a target on their back. And, for women, it's especially dangerous in Afghanistan. Women have no rights. And this was a girl that grew up being told, you can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer, you can be anything you want to be, because she grew up in America's Afghanistan. So she's not used to any of this. Overnight, they're like, boom, you can't go to school. You have no rights. Overnight. You can't go outside. So she's like, what the hell? And well, she didn't say that because she didn't cuss. But so she sends me this message. I've never spoken to this girl in my life. And I just read it and tell her we can't do anything. She then, the next day, sends me this message of this just guttural moaning and crying. And it just like it
sobbing,
hurt
screaming.
my soul.
You could hear this in the background.
I mean, it was just this woman wailing, you could just hear the pain in her voice. And I was like, what did you just send me? What is that? And she was like, that's my mom crying. They just beat my dad in front of all of us. So the Taliban found them, beat the shit out of her dad in front of all of them. So that was her mom. She took a voice note of her mom just wailing like that and sent it to me, that was really smart. It was really smart to do, because after I heard that, I was like, Ben, I don't I don't give a fuck what we have to do. We're getting this girl. We're helping her. We're safe housing her and her family. I don't care what we have to do. Make it happen. And he did.
Yes,
I don't
ma'am.
I don't even remember what
Yeah, when
I don't
she talks
remember
like
how
that,
yeah, like
I got you.
And there's something different about her. You know, like we get messages from thousands of Afghans, but there was something different about her. And the fact that she sent me that voice note and she was smart enough to think to do that, I was like, there's something with this girl and we need her. We need to do something for her. And we did. And we ended up she was in Kabul when this happened. We moved her to Mazar. We had guys on the ground that would escort our families so they didn't get killed on the way. So I had an escort, and they actually left before the escort even got there. She like messaged me at 3 o'clock in the morning. She was like, we had to go. They were coming back. So her whole family went without the escort. So I'm like thinking they're going to die on the way. She texts me the next morning, sends a selfie of her and her family. They had made it to Mazar. We get her into the safe house and she starts tutoring people. This girl can speak like 7 different languages. So, and it turns out like she had been in school. She was learning German. She was teaching German. So she sends me pictures from the safe house. Like, I'm teaching the kids English. I'm teaching the kids German. Like, this girl is so smart. So, she's at some point we had to shut down the safe houses. Like we had been doing it we had housed her for about 3 months. There was no money. There was nothing left. So I was like, you gotta figure something out. We can't pay for it anymore. She decides to go on her own because she knows she can't take the whole family. She takes nothing but this tiny little pink backpack and starts walking. And she makes it to Brazil. She just keeps going.
She went to Pakistan. We got her in Pakistan.
Yeah, we did get her in Pakistan.
Actually,
that's right.
Perry Blackburn got her in
Yes.
Pakistan. And she got on YouTube, taught herself Portuguese, and went to the Brazilian embassy in Pakistan and convinced them to give her a humanitarian visa to Brazil. Wow. And then a lot transpired that we're not going to get into just because of everything going on right now. But now she lives with us, and she's a student in college in pre-med. Yeah.
Wow. So something started across the world now.
Yeah. Yeah, now she's right here.
She's here, yeah.
Lawfully, legally, One day they're going to make a movie about her story because it's insane what this girl did. Mm-hmm. And if you meet her, which you might get to, I don't know what time she gets off work today.
I don't know either. I'll text her.
She's amazing. The girl's such a badass, dude. Just a little tiny girl. Well, she's still got that pink backpack too.
Oh, does she?
Oh yeah,
she does.
Yeah, but that right there is illustrative to me of what this country used to be all about. The American dream. You can come here with nothing but a pink backpack to your name and become a fucking doctor.
Amen.
Right? And she is living it out. She's making it happen. And having her here in Memphis with all this work we're doing, it's amazing because we'll watch grown men come off the streets, that are battling the same things that Jess and I used to battle, and they'll complain about how hard it is to go get an ID, or how difficult it is to find a job in the background. And like, I get that. I've been there. It is hard. That's real, But then we look at this girl. Like, should we really be complaining? Like, really, should we? I don't think we should. She has motivated us in ways I can't even quantify, dude. It's that indomitable human spirit when you just are driven to overcome and succeed, and you believe in yourself. There's nothing on this earth that can stop you.
One of the reasons why I reached out to both of you, initially Ben, right? We've been connected on the famous application LinkedIn for a while, which I've been following and seeing you grow. But it wasn't only that what y'all were doing for the people that were going through something similar as y'all. And I think it's a good point to kind of bring that out, is that we live right now in a time where division creates weakness among us, and that's how they keep a chokehold on us.
100%, man. I could point fingers in so many directions right now. I'm going to try not to, but the mainstream media, in large part, both political parties, like they strive to keep us divided. And from the media's perspective, that's very strategic. And if you've ever run paid media or published a website where you make money from ad revenue, you understand why. That gets clicks, it gets eyeballs, and so they make money when they have your eyeballs. That's how ad revenue works. And so we've created this self-fulfilling prophecy that division pays people. And so what you incentivize, you get more of. And so But the shitty downside of that is that out here at the street level, you have people that believe we're this incredibly divided nation. What did you see out in South Memphis today? Black, white, brown, yellow, gay, straight, old, young, no cops, robbers, drug dealers, prostitutes, and we're all out there getting along. Where is the hate and division that your television makes us believe is everywhere? It's not real. It is manufactured, and if we buy into it, it becomes real. But if you just set that aside and go meet your neighbor where they're at and try to just connect on a human level, like she said, we are wired for that as a species. We are wired to connect with another human being, and it's innate in all of us, regardless of race, creed, color, background, religion. None of that matters. And so, to your point, I do try to push this constant message of unity on social media, because I firmly believe 95% of societal issues could be solved if we just tackle them together. I don't have to think the same as you. You know, all we have to agree on is what is the end goal. What, we want to win the war on drugs? Okay, I think we get there one way. You think we get there another way. We can still come to the table and work together and try to get there. And that's one of the reasons I'm so hell-bent on having law enforcement and, you know, the block, the dope boys, the gang members at the table together. You can't solve a big problem unless you have all the players, and they have to all get on the same page somehow. And we've been able to move the needle in some pretty big ways out in South Memphis doing that. I don't ever want to see, you know, good people going to prison. I feel like the majority of people are fixable. Child predators not included, you know, they go to prison. Yeah, they go away. People that commit sexual violence, goodbye. But guys that grew up learning to get it off the block and, you know, selling dope like that, you can repurpose that drive. You can repurpose that hustle into becoming an employer. You know, build a business. You just got to pour into these guys a little bit. And all of that comes back to unity. We've got to see each other as equals. We have to.
You brought this up. We attended y'all's event for the community, right? Y'all were feeding people. Y'all were giving toys, clothing for the cold. As if y'all both of you told me, Yaku, we were picking up buds in this same parking lot back when we were in the street. So how does it feel, and what does it mean to you, having the full circle moment where now the streets that maybe were taking over you're now overtaking them?
There's not even a word to describe that feeling. It's surreal, that's for one thing. And it's, you know, we've been clean 6.5 years now, but we never forget where we came from. And I think part of why we keep going back, well, one, we made a promise to God to go back for those we left behind. And we kept that promise, and we're still keeping that promise. So that's one reason we go back. But another reason is because we have to keep it fresh. We have to keep it green. I never want to forget what it was like to be picking up cigarette butts. I never want to forget what it was like to steal food or go eat crackers out of a trash can, because that happened a few times. You know, and that also helps to, you know, some people are like, oh, I beat addiction. I beat out. Nope, you didn't beat it. And as long as we remember that, it's a little bit easier, because I think when you start thinking that you beat something, it can come back. It can bite you in the ass, and I don't ever want to think I beat anything. So that going back keeps that memory fresh. And I never want to think that I'm above anyone, because I'm not. I'm just a crackhead who got clean by the grace of God. And everything, I give God the glory for everything. So when we go back there, and when people are like, oh, y'all do this, we do that. We do. You know, y'all saw us out there, we're doing the event, but it's all God ordained. Everything that we have, the path that we walked, you know, we stumbled a lot, but we finally got it right. And all of that is, we just followed what God has told us to do. And that was a really weird, long answer to your question, and I don't even know if I answered your question.
You nailed it.
You're good. I love how y'all keep your faith very present, unapologetic.
Oh, you got to, man.
And so, what did our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ mean for y'all on whenever y'all decided, you know what, we don't want this anymore? Addiction, we're done. When did that realization come to your mind, and y'all said, you know what, that's it, we're done with this?
2019 was a really, really bad year. We lost our vehicle and our home on the same day, my mom's birthday, January 5th of 2019. We lost a lot of friends that year to murder, suicide, overdose, prison. And I was tired, you know. Our faith was ever present. Like we literally used to watch sermons on our phones in the trap house. Like,
Smoking crack.
Smoking crack. You know, so God was always present, and we always knew we're not doing what God wants us to do. The turning point for me was that spring. I don't know if I've ever talked about this on camera before, but I started praying to God to remove whatever it was from my life that was preventing me from getting clean. Now, it was not a new prayer, but I added something new to it, and that was, even if it's Jess. And the second I was willing to give her up, and I started praying that, I made the decision to do it. And that's when it happened for me on May 26, 2019. And I left her. And I got on a Greyhound bus. I went home to my parents in Georgia, and I was done. I didn't want to be done with her, but if she was not ready to get clean, I was ready to be clean. 3 days later, she decided she was ready to.
I think it was a week. Well,
it was a week before I came back to get you.
Oh, gotcha.
It was 3 days before you were like,
that was a long 3 days.
I'd been tired of that life the whole time I was living it. You know, people hear my story, and they think that I was out there on dope this whole time, and that's not the case. The 2013, 2014, yeah, it was pretty much all dope. It stopped being fun then, and it became a job. And so from 2014 to 2019, 18 arrests, give or take, in that time period. I had, and this is insane, I had more time clean in those 5 years than I did on dope. That's how hard I was fighting to beat that addiction. And it took me 5 fucking years to finally be able to get a handle on it. But it didn't have to take me that long. You know, the solution had been in front of me the whole time. Like 12-step recovery is a one-size-fits-all. Just there's a reason everybody says go to AA, go to CA, whatever it is. There's other ways to get clean too, for sure. But I think for 100% of people that actually surrender themselves to that program, it works. You know, and I finally just had to hit a point where all semblance of ego is gone. And let's be honest, how much ego can you really have when you're picking up cigarette butts out of a parking lot, you know, and 6 months prior to that, you had a 3,500 square foot house. You've fallen pretty far, buddy.
Yeah.
You know, and so that, to her point a minute ago, that is why we have to keep going back to those same streets, that same neighborhood, around people that saw me at rock bottom, just to make sure I remember that I'm no better than him. I'm one bad decision from being right there where he is, or worse. You know, I can get right back there. I've tested it. Trust me. And so going back to those areas, it does keep it fresh. And, you know, ego is a very dangerous thing for us. We've fallen victim to that. We were making a ton of money 2017, 2018. I'm talking like we were supporting a $1,200 a day habit. We had a 3,500 square foot home. We had multiple vehicles. Business was booming. You know?
Oh, wow.
And that ego got us. We're like, oh yeah, we got this. We got this. You know, now we can start doing dope the way we want it. And nah, dude, I say that to say this. Where we're at today is nothing but God. And I'm not even, when I say that, I'm not trying to say that I'm special and God likes me extra. What I'm saying is that for right now, for today, God is using me for a very specific purpose, for a season, and that could change tomorrow, and I'm good with that. Like we're doing what He wants us to do right now, and we're out there trying to, you know, be hands and feet and just meet the needs of the least of us, and I love doing it. So I hope God sees fit to continue using us to do that. But if He doesn't, it's okay. True. It's okay. I'm finally content with who I am today, and I think I was probably 42 or 43 before I ever felt that in my entire life, and I'm 44 now. So that's a new thing for me. You know, I finally am okay with who I see in the mirror. I finally feel good about myself when I go to bed at night, and I don't ever want to lose that. And I know that all it takes for me to lose it instantly is just a sip of alcohol, you know, because that's where it'll always start for me. It'll be one sip of alcohol, next thing you know, I'm pawning y'all's cameras for crack. Tonight. It'll go that fast.
Wow. So I have a question, mainly for you, Jess. You always have those kind of people that say, well, I can do X, Y, Z, and if I feel like just saying stop, I can stop. I don't have to. What would you say to those people that don't understand how addiction works and just say, well, you can stop at any time, you just don't want to stop?
Ooh, that's a hard one, and it's hard to explain to those type of people because we have run into people like that, especially like on LinkedIn or Facebook when we'll make a post and we'll have assholes comment, you know, you can stop whenever you want, you know, y'all are just stupid, you're irresponsible, and I just say just wait, because addiction is everywhere, and especially with the prevalence of fentanyl, it is beginning to touch everyone's lives. And I just tell them to wait because they're going to experience it. I hope they don't because it's getting so bad out there. And then I really have to watch myself when I talk to people like that because I'll just shoot off at the mouth. Ben's the nice one, and he'll have to calm me down because I lived it since I was a little kid, so I get it. And I have to remember that not everybody has experienced having a parent as an addict or having a kid as an addict. Some people don't have any experience with it at all. So they don't know. They don't know that overwhelming need to have your drug of choice, your next hit. They don't get it. And I have to keep that in the back of my mind. I have to remember that. Before I start shooting off the mouth, I have to remind myself, not everybody knows. They don't understand. And sometimes I just have to sit and pray. Sometimes I have to pray. And I will pray for them as well. And sometimes it'll be a bad prayer. Sometimes I'll be like, God, just bring somebody in. I just want them to know what it feels like. Yeah. And then I have to take that back.
Sorry, God, didn't really mean that, God.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean it.
Yeah, addiction's a spectrum. Like if you're a raging addict like I am, you got to do total abstinence because if you do anything, you're going to do everything. I know plenty of people who can responsibly use cannabis. Tons of people who can responsibly drink alcohol. I even know one guy that can responsibly use heroin intravenously. That blows my mind.
Did I say experience?
Huh? I don't know.
So you're talking about fully functional?
Yeah, this guy went and got hair plugs, right? And the pain medicine they gave him wasn't doing the trick, so he just went and bought some heroin. I'm like, how the fuck do you do that, bro? If I shot some dope right now, it'd be over in a matter of hours. But yeah, so that's an extreme example. He's the only person I've ever known in my entire life who could do that. I know, there's plenty of people that can responsibly use other recreational drugs. I'm not one of them. So if somebody's telling me that they can stop whatever they're doing, great. That's awesome. If it ever gets to a point where you can't, hit me up because there is an answer out there. You don't have to ride that train all the way to the bottom like we did.
People often think it's just illegal substances, right? But it could be food. It could be obscene material. 100%. Heck, it could be, I don't know, buying something that you collect, Yeah. And we think so narrow-minded when it comes to addiction, when in reality it could be social media too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, very much so. And in fact, I honestly think these little dopamine dispensers that we've got are probably like the most prevalent addicted item in the world right now. And it's tragic. And we all fall prey to it. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's dopamine. You're right. Some people get that from shopping. Some people get it from sex. Some people get it from healthy things, the gym. Like anything taken to excess can become problematic. That's the question you have to ask yourself to know if you have a problem. Is it creating issues? Is my spouse saying something about it? Are my kids losing me to it? Is it impacting my life in a negative way? If the answer to any of those questions are yes, bro, you got a problem. Do something about it. Don't let things control your life like that. I don't think our Creator wants any of us to have anything that controls our life in that fashion. Which, look, I'm a hypocrite, right? I mean, I'm still addicted to nicotine. I need to quit that. But seriously, anything that controls us like that is a problem, and we got to cut it out. We got to. So, in 2026, I will quit vaping. You have my word.
Okay.
All right.
I'll hold you to that. I'll remind you too.
Yeah, I'm serious. I'm going to do it. It's been on my mind for a minute now. But we're such a immediate gratification society, and I think that's what a lot of it comes down to. That's why the prevalence of addiction in our country is so high, is because we're all about immediate gratification. And what better way to immediate gratification is there than being able to change the way you feel when you don't like it? And that's why dope is so dangerous. That's why alcohol is so dangerous. You know, I envy people that can responsibly change the way they feel without having disastrous consequences. Because believe me, if I could, I would. I've tried.
And it gives me a different kind of perspective than anybody watching. It really just puts into perspective the different levels and layers of it, right? People think it's just a one narrow pathway dealing with all these challenges, and it's really a lot of layers to it. Now y'all made a whole 360. Y'all are spearheading all these foundations. We Fight Monsters, the Rifle Co., not coffee. I love how you always put that, because there's a little confusion there or something.
Yeah, oh yeah. So I'll clarify that one. Black Rifle, we started it back in 2011, 12. It was gun e-commerce. Like, we sold gun parts online. Okay. And it went very viral during the bump stock ban. And when we came off the streets, I started it back up as a digital data intelligence company to serve the gun industry. So technically speaking, we had the name longer than Black Rifle Coffee did, but the business folded and was defunct for 2 years while I was doing drugs on the streets, you know. Yeah. So and they got real big during that same time period. So I just kept the name. I should probably change it, but I haven't. But screw it, I'm gonna keep it. That Black Rifle is how I make my living.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what pays all my bills. That's what pays the lease here. It's what funds a lot of the because we never raise as much money as we need. We spend so much money out there, and so we're good being able to give that back. Part of 12-step recovery is making financial amends. We look at the work we're doing in South Memphis as making financial amends to that community. We pumped easily 6 figures into that dope economy, which fuels violence, it fuels human trafficking, it fuels, the suffering of children, all sorts of things. We pumped money into that. And so we owe it to the same community to put money back into it for a good, positive reasons. Like, I'm trying to rebuild what I helped destroy. And it's funny, not funny, God, that was the wrong word. First dope house we shut down was the one that we hit rock bottom in. And within days of that house shutting down, there's kids out playing on the street. And you look at the ages of these kids and you realize these kids lived on this street when we were trapping in that house, and I never saw them. And it's my fault that those kids couldn't play outside because of the street. And so, like, it's a beautiful thing to see them coming back outside, but then you got to remember that the reason they didn't play outside for so long was partly my fault, and that hurts. It's little realizations like that we'll have periodically that I think fuel our need to relentlessly do more, because it's never enough. You can't give those kids years back in their life, The other side to that is I can't give my kids back time they lose with me, So it's a constant balancing act. Like, our kids lost us to the streets once already. Just because they're losing us to the streets again for a positive reason doesn't make it okay. So as you saw today, we try to involve the kids in as much as we possibly can.
And they were a joy. They were having fun. You have a big family.
Yes, we do.
Wow, that's half of them.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's more. We got our 3 oldest are 21, 21, and almost 20. Our 20-year-old has a baby, so we're grandparents.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, and then so the ones that are out there today are Lily and the twins. They're almost 16, almost 15. And then James and Ava are 9 and 5. And then Robert's got his 3-year-olds, or 2 of his girls out here. Yeah, we got a lot of kids, man. Got a lot of kids. And I don't know if you saw the little black girl I was walking around with, the 2-year-old. We're about to foster her. Her mom went to jail today. They just texted and asked if we can. Yeah.
Yep.
So
we got another kid.
Yeah, we got another. But look, here's the thing. When you've already got more than 3 kids, or more than 2, really, you're outnumbered.
Nope. Nope. See, he says that, but he's not the one that cooks and does laundry for him. So that's it.
I would keep going. And we count Ariza. We count our Afghan as one of our kids now. So I've got 9, if counting her. I would seriously keep going if she would let me, but she's done.
You're like, Ben, you don't have to do what I do.
It's out. I'm done. Yeah.
So let me see. So I know I brought it up, but We Fight Monsters, Black Rifle Company, Owens Army, Flanders Fields. One question: how in the heck do y'all even have time to sleep?
We don't. Sleep is very elusive. We don't get enough of it. It's taking a toll on our health. You know, it's.
We're getting old,
We're getting
man.
old, man. You know, we're getting up
And we
there.
feel it.
And we definitely, like, I was looking at pictures of myself from just a few years ago, and the amount I have aged in the last 3-4 years is insane. Being out there on the streets didn't even age me like this, and I hate that. But like I said, I'm fulfilled today, so it's okay. I do have a plan to mitigate this. We've developed a tool that can be used to target bad actors like terrorists. And we may end up with, you know, a contract for that, and then we got a building today that we're going to open our own rehab in, and I think that contract might pay for the renovation on that building. And so once we have our own detox center and 28-day treatment, guess what? I don't have to stress about how I'm going to raise money to do all this stuff anymore. You know, I can finally so my plan for 2026 is going to be laser focused around the targeting tool and a contract, so that we've been doing this work targeting bad guys for a few years now for free, and basically they're like, you know, we can kind of pay you for that. So I was like, well, please do. So now that I know that, right, I'm going to focus on that, and I'm going to laser focus on getting this treatment center open. You guys got to see Casey and Cody in action today, and I got to tell you, man, those two are absolute rock stars. The pressure they have taken off of us, I finally see a light at the end of the tunnel. And so I think 2026, we're going to be focused on that contract and getting our rehab center open. That's where I'm going to focus. These events, the street outreach, all the counter trafficking operations and all that other stuff that we do in law enforcement, Casey can take point on coordinating the overwhelming bulk of that. She's much more organized than I am anyway. And Jess and I finally have somebody that we can trust to shoulder that load, who I know is not going to burn out from it. Like, it wakes her up. She loves it.
For people that might not understand what y'all do in Memphis, because like I said, you have hands on a lot of pots right now. Somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, I want to get clean. I don't know what to do." What is the process?
Well, we do have a process. We have an intake coordinator named Marcus, which we've known him for like 10 years, an amazing guy. Met him in NA when I met him. And so I call Marcus, or Ben calls Marcus, and we're like, hey, can you get such and such into detox? Some places have detox 24/7. Some places, you know, they're weird about insurance and stuff. Marcus has been in this for so long that he knows who takes what's insurance, and, you know, so that's really my first step. We used to do it ourselves, but we've been trying to slowly kind of back away from doing everything because it's killing us, because two people can't do everything. So we've really been trying to lean on other people, because that's what we're supposed to do anyway.
He's better at it than us.
And he is better at it.
His record, he had a vet in Texas in a bed less than 9 minutes after the first call. Insanity. So detox.
And it really depends on...
Sorry, what is detox?
Okay, so detox is when you have to, and it depends on what you're taking. Like if you're on meth, you don't need detox. Your body is not physically dependent on that chemical. Now, it might suck when you come off of it. You know, you're not going to feel great, but you're not literally going to be about to die. You know, like benzos, alcohol, heroin, like you have to be detoxed, which is going into a place for 5 to 7 days. They give you a little bit of meds to kind of calm you, comfort you, you know, help your stomach out, because it'll be coming out of both ends, man. Like, it is horrible. You feel like you're going to die. You want to die. And it is the most miserable feeling. And I tell people this that have never experienced it. I say it's like having the worst flu of your life while you're having the worst stomach virus of your life, and having the worst suicidal ideation, the worst darkness that you have ever felt mentally, all combined in one. That is what withdrawal is like. And so this is a place that they can go to get all the drugs out of their system, so then they can be ready to go to rehab, like a 28-day rehab, which is then, that's the next step. Because they have to have a few weeks under their belt. And then after rehab, then they will go to like we have sober living facilities. So if you don't have a house to go to, if you've burned every bridge and you have nothing left, we've got houses that you can come to. and start your life over. And, you know, people need some guardrails. They need curfew. They need rules, because a lot of them out there didn't have rules. They did whatever the hell they wanted to do. I know that's the way I was. I needed someone to tell me where to be, when to be, what I was supposed to wear during the day. You know, some of these, especially some of the women, that they weren't raised right, that some of them don't know how to wash a dish, you know, and that's insane to me. You know, so some of the guys, you have to tell them, you have to wash your ass every day. That's a normal thing. You know, some guys have never been told that. Yeah. So it's like literally raising children sometimes.
It's like raising adult kids, and that's okay, because we've been there. Like, we get it, you know, but getting that 28 days under the belt of sober time is critical, because then your brain starts functioning again. You know, we get them plugged into job opportunities. We tried to run a trade school out of here for a little bit, and I'm going to start it back up eventually. We get them job interviews, reference letters. You know, we will plug people into everything from parenting classes to financial literacy to leadership, being taught by like guys that get paid 10 grand to go teach it to corporations. You know, we will try to plug our men and women into everything we possibly can. It all comes down to willingness. You know, what do you want to learn? Where do you want to go with life? And for some people, you know, working a 9 to 5 washing dishes is as good as it's going to get, and they're good with, and that's fine. That is a win, you know. And for some people, they're going to go back to college. They're going to rebuild. They're going to do something amazing, and for them, that's great too. You know, like I don't care. Obviously, I want the best for everybody. I don't try to impose my ideal of a good life on anybody else. When we intake somebody, we want to find out what their goals and hopes and dreams are. What you guys got to witness in South Memphis today, you saw every step of that. There were men and women there today from our halfway houses. There was a guy that Jess and I were in a trap house with 7 years ago that decided he wanted to go to detox, and he got in a car with 2 girls that took him. That happened today. And I think one of the prostitutes that was out there is allegedly, this will be the 9th time we've gotten her help, but it's okay. It takes what it takes, you know? And that's like really one of the biggest things that we have to push when people come into this mission. Is like you cannot impose your standards on them. You got to be willing to meet them right where they're at. And so the intake process that she just described, it's very different for everybody, you know, whether it's medical detox or, you know, they may need to go to a trafficking survivor specific program that offers a whole lot more than we're able to. They may need trauma therapy, grief counseling, intensive outpatient programming. The opportunities for personal growth and early recovery, I would almost put them up against the opportunity anybody else would ever have, because you're starting from literal rock bottom. Your life is a blank slate. And so as much as being at rock bottom sucks, it's actually a beautiful thing if you think about it. You get to start all the way over, you know? You get to start everything and just from a blank slate and build the life that you've always wanted. You just got to be willing to grab onto that extended hand and not let go, you know?
Following through that, and for us it's faith, right? You're gonna have the best days, you're gonna have the horrible days, you're gonna have the days that you don't want to keep on moving forward. But I think it's just a reminder of both of you. I love this team. I love the Jess and Ben. That's one of the things that I really wanted to just talk about for a second. How the best way that I can describe you is you remind me a lot about my wife, and I see you as the heartbeat of whatever he's doing. So how, on your side, from your perspective, how is it trying to be, you know, your mom for your kids, and then at the same time, you know, putting up with this guy right here?
It is exhausting.
Worse like back in the day, or has it gotten better?
It's definitely gotten better. Because at first I was like the child, because when I first met Ben, like I'd come off this, you know, I'd been getting high for 20 years. So when I first met Ben, like I didn't even know who I was. I had no idea that I could actually cook like really well. I didn't know how to be a parent. So, and then once I learned all of that, and I was like, damn, I am actually good at doing this shit, you know? And then the roles flipped. So now I'm taking care of everything. He's like the biggest child I have.
Hey, it's true.
Like he went to the kid, we were having some cookout. He goes into the kitchen. He's like, "Where are the bowls?" He didn't even know where the bowls. Like that's
lived how much in that house for 4 years.
I take care of everything, but it's because he is the idea guy. right? Like he's like, we can do this and we can do this and we can do this. And like, I don't have a brain like he does. He's got the big brain ideas, which is amazing. And I know that's why God put us together like that. Like, he's the big brain guy. He's like, we can do this and this. And I was like, bet, I'm going to make this happen. Let me see how we can do it. And I'm a worker. Like, I do not stop. I am a machine. And I like it like that. He's the emotional guy. Like, he has more feelings than I do. I guess that's because he was raised one way. I was raised one another. I don't have emotions. Like, I just go. I'm like, I just go.
They saw you cry 3 times.
That's
today.
not true. That's not true. My eyes were sweating just a little bit, and that's okay. But God put us together, and He made us. He made Ben the way he is. He made me the way I am, and we complement each other. You know, what he lacks, I have. What I lack, he has, and it's just perfect. God made him for me, and me for him, and I know that. And just the work that we do, how we have come through such shit, pain, and misery, and come out on the other side, and we had to go through a lot to get to where we are. And I think it's because we've had each other. We've always had each other. Even when we hated each other and I was stabbing Ben and he was doing, bad things behind my back.
What the heck? I literally stabbing, or you just saying that?
Oh, no, I did.
More than once. Hey, look. Some of these scars on my face are from her.
I grew up with violence. That's how I saw things.
You did something, bro. I don't picture.
Oh, no, I did.
Just out of the blue.
I definitely did. I deserved it all.
Violence was the answer for a very long time.
All of the experiences, both good and bad, have shaped how we respond to each other. And I 100% believe that the dynamic we have today is responsible for every bit of our success. I mean, obviously God, but the way we interact with each other today is why we make such a good team. And I think, honestly, I figured this out as we were getting clean. The reason that it's gotten to where it is because we always choose to see the best in each other. And we always try, both of us, always try to earn the other. I try to make sure I'm a good enough man to deserve her as my wife, literally every day. And then she's doing the exact same thing. And we were both doing this separately until we had the conversation about it. And we realized, we're both trying to become better every single day so that we can earn the other. Did that make any sense?
It made absolute sense, and I think part of it is because we have the faith that we have. So it would almost be like a spit in the face of God if I didn't try to earn Him.
That's it. That's exactly it right there.
He is my gift, and I have to treat Him as such. I appreciate Him, and I have to let Him know that I appreciate Him. I have to show Him every day that He is worthy. Yep.
It sounds hokey, man, but that's like that. I think that is really what got our relationship to where it's gotten us. And I mean, we've gone from literally sleeping on the streets together without even. I mean, we have one thin sweatshirt to share between us, and it's 15 degrees. To now we're housing 100 people in this same city where I used to be homeless. That didn't happen by accident. That wasn't, a freak circumstance. It happened because we both latched onto this mission and just decided this is where we're going in life right now. And we seek His will and guidance in every step of the way, every day, and just pray for the strength to carry that out.
Amen. You the testimony of each one of you, the way y'all talk about each other, just even the way y'all stare at each other, is something that unfortunately, I must say unfortunately, is rare nowadays. And it's becoming more rare. Why? Because it ties to a lot of things. People now want somebody built. People want somebody already that's self-sufficient. People want somebody that's just going to add to you. And I'm not saying that you have to break yourself to build somebody else, but people forget the importance of, like the gears and an engine, right? They fit perfectly and they help each other turn, which sets a domino effect for other things to happen, right? But I'm glad y'all are living testimony, and once again, one of the reasons why I just wanted to show the story, because I don't think enough people realize what goes behind the scenes. They know Owen's Army, they know of you, they know of We Fight Monsters, but this is an engine that started with y'all.
It is absolutely. I love the phrase you just used, that people are looking for something that's already built. I made one of these signs that went viral a long time ago. that said something to the effect of, you don't find the right somebody, you build them, and they build you. And that's exactly what it is. Maybe that's why we work so well together. We literally built this life together. That visual you just did it's spot on, man. I am sad for the majority of the world that they won't ever have this, because they're out there looking for things in the wrong places. Now, we met in Narcotics Anonymous. I'm not saying that's the right place to go look for a spouse, right? Like, let's not, in fact, 0 out of 10 stars. Don't do that. But when you have to struggle together, when you come out of the trenches together and you stay together and you know that this is your person, dude, it's an unbreakable bond, and you're unstoppable together. And I really don't think there's much of anything we wouldn't be willing to tackle. As long as I got her by my side, I'm not afraid of anything, man.
I like that. That just speaks volumes of, as long as she supports, or she's there right to hear your complaining or your idea.
That's right. That's it. Yes, that's it though. That's it. Just somebody to listen to me when I'm bitching about it. But that's a big part of it. I do complain a lot.
You do.
But you offer solutions and you listen.
One of the reasons why I see that y'all make such a power team, and shout out to my friend Joel Garza, is because y'all have the 3 Ps and y'all carry them out. So most of the time you'll meet people throughout y'all's lives that will go and base their life out of their purpose, knowing their purpose, knowing their potential, and living by certain principles. And they won't fold on those 3. And those 3 line up and support each other in each and one of those 3, right? A lot of people that you've met, that we've met, hey, they have, and I told Jess earlier, they have the street smarts, they have the knowledge, they have a high IQ, they know what to do, but in times when it counts the most, they crumble because they give into their attitude, to their inner rage, whatever the case might be. So I'll ask each one of you, what is your purpose?
My purpose is to serve my fellow human being, to love my neighbor, to end suffering wherever I can, and to share all of my scar stories so that they can benefit somebody else.
Well, thank you. How about you, Jess?
You stole my answer, Ben.
Got her.
But I mean, really, my purpose is to serve, and it's always been to serve. Even when I was in addiction, I would still try to help people out. Ben will tell you, like this Hood Mart that you see right here with all the donations, that started in my closet when I was high, because I still wanted to give to people. Like, even it started in my closet, and I was like, well, TT over here, she needs, she doesn't have deodorant. So like, I've always wanted to serve, even in my addiction. I'm always wanted to help people, I guess, because I didn't have much when I was growing up. So it's like, it's ingrained in me, like, oh, they don't have something, they need something. So my purpose is to serve. But you know what? God tells us to serve. He tells us to help our fellow people, to be the least so you can help somebody else. And I want to say that Bible verse, but I can't say it right, so I'm not going to.
It's okay, we can paraphrase.
Put on subtitles.
So I'm going to mess it up. What is it? The best of you is to be the least, or something like that. I can't remember what it is, but you know what I'm talking about. So that is my purpose, is to serve, and that is how I stay clean. Is to give away what was so freely given to me. And really, I think that's the AA way, the NA way too. You have to give it away to keep it. And I know that. And the moment I start getting stingy or getting selfish or thinking of me, that's when I'm going to go smoke some crack, because it's going to come that fast. So my purpose is to give away my time, my energy, my money. Everything that I have to give goes to somebody else, because it was never mine to begin with.
Boom.
God gave us everything. Everything that I am, everything that I have, everything that we have acquired is God's. And I am to give it away. And I know that. And so that's my purpose.
You being the heartbeat of, like I already said, of this whole movement, what have you recognized to be your potential? What would you say, hey, Yaku, I've come to the realization that this is something that maybe I don't love doing, but I'm definitely good at?
I have figured out that I'm really organized, and I did not know that when I first got clean. I didn't know who I was, and I like to be, like you saw the event, right? Usually I'm the Casey. Usually I'm like, you go do this, you go do this, you go do this. I don't like doing that. I don't like being known. I don't like people coming to me and be like, oh, you're Jess. I mean, it's nice. It's, you know, it's cool. And I say nothing bad about those people that do that. I like to be nameless in a line serving food. Like, I just want to give back. You know, like we would go to Needle Exchange on Fridays sometimes where nobody knows me, and I can just put on a little hairnet and some gloves and just help people, just give them some food, because I know what it feels like to be in freezing weather while you're hungry. And I think that's my superpower is service work. Like, that's what I've always been good at, is service work. And when I got with Ben, I was barely a mother to my own daughter. Then he comes with 5 kids from his other marriage. You know, I was like, I don't know what
Surprise!
I didn't want to get into that, you know, but I did. And then I realized I really do have a superpower. Like, I'm good at, I can be a mother and I can cook for all these kids, and it's good food, and I can do the laundry, and I can keep everything on point, and I can run businesses at the same time. I think my potential is to be a machine. Like, I just keep going.
It's because she's Japanese.
I am Japanese.
Are you?
Yeah. My dad's half Japanese.
Oh, wow. I didn't know. Do you speak Japanese?
Just like 1 through 10.
Or like before you eat, itadakimasu. Well, thank you so much. That was powerful. Ben, what about you? What's my boy's potential, man? Something new, something tangible that you said, you know what? Maybe I don't love that, but I think I have some steel to work with.
Man, I don't know. I don't know yet.
Nothing wrong with that.
You know,
sometimes it'll take somebody else to point it out.
Yeah, I've got a gift at connecting with people, very disparate people. Like I've literally the same day I've gone from CIA headquarters to talking with people living on the street. We did not long ago in D.C. We were in the West Wing of the White House for a meeting, and then I talked to this dude on the street of D.C. for 20 minutes. What was his name?
I don't remember.
Hunter. No. Anyway, I like connecting with people. I like getting people's stories out of them, man. And I like helping people figure out what their purpose is. And I'll tell you, almost invariably, purpose is always tied back to service of our fellow man or woman. And that's how God created all of us. Whether they believe in God or not is irrelevant. We're still wired for that. We're wired to be of like that warm fuzzy feeling you get when somebody does something nice for you and they don't even know you, you know. Yeah. We're all built to do that, and to do it at scale, I believe. And so helping other people kind of figure out where the disconnect inside them is and how to put whatever they've been through, their scar stories, their pain. You were talking about the 3 Ps. I think there's a 4th one, pain. We've all been scuffed up by life. Trauma is a universal thing, and I think if we could figure out a way to make that pain into something relevant to our future, that's where we find purpose a lot of times. So I don't know, as far as potential goes, I don't know what the future holds, man. If you'd asked me that 6 years ago, I'd have said I'm gonna, start another e-com business and make millions. You ask me that today, it's like, that might be short selling myself. I think God's got something even bigger, and I don't know what it is, but I'm just watching the momentum of, I'm going to call it a movement that we're a part of. We didn't start it, but there's this movement of grassroots organizations that's really sweeping the nation right now. People are dying to find meaning in life. They're dying to find connection with their fellow man or woman, and they're dying to find purpose. Back during the Great Depression, America went through a similar thing where we had just lost our direction as a society. We'd lost our moral compass, and I think we've been in that again for the last, 50 years, and I think we're coming out of it again. And what I think we're about to see, and my buddy Scott Mann talks about this a lot, is this, he calls it the upswing in human capital. But I think what we're going to see is more of these underdog stories, more of these smaller groups coming out of nowhere and showing up to do things like evacuate 10,000 Muslims from Afghanistan, or help the initial round of evacuations out of war-torn Ukraine, or going out into South Memphis and just feeding, lunch to a bunch of prostitutes and homeless people. Like, these things all matter and they all add up. And in the middle of all of them, you've got broken people who have absolutely nothing in common with each other beyond pain and trauma, showing up and shouldering a load together that's not theirs to shoulder. And I think when you see that kind of thing happening at scale across America, we're set for a revival. We're set for a rebirth of sorts, to where this division and hate that we were talking about, everybody is able to recognize that's not real. This is real. This is real, and this is where I belong. And I just hope everybody's able to find something like that near them, because I promise it exists, dude. We just don't all know each other yet.
That's true. Ben, you being a man of discipline and craziness, what are some of the 5 non-negotiables, 5 principles for you that you tell me, Jaco, this is what I stand for, in order?
Honesty and integrity in order. Let me see here.
It'll give you some time just...
Now I'm gonna back up on that. So empathy and I'm gonna say compassion. I know they're not the same thing, but we're gonna say empathy and compassion has to be number one. If you cannot love your fellow man, I don't have capacity for you in my life. If you cannot see that there is innate good in every human being, that's a non-starter for me. So empathy and compassion is definitely number one.
I'm just going to steal your answers when you say them.
That's cool. What's the word I want to use? So, like, it's not proactive, initiative. I need to be surrounded by people who don't have to be micromanaged. They're responsible for their actions. They're accountable for their actions, and they take the initiative to get things done. And then honesty and integrity for sure. What am I forgetting? What's important to me? I think that empathy, compassion, and being a self-starter are like easily the top 3, though, right?
Yeah. You got 4? You got need one more?
Resilience. Dude, I cannot work with somebody with a victim mentality. Look at this. My hoodie even says it. Resilient as fuck. Because that's what we gotta be, dude. That's what we gotta be. I can't work with victim mentality. As long as you are in victimhood, you cannot move forward into accomplishing anything. That doesn't mean somebody's not a victim. She was a victim of her mom. She was a victim of her childhood, but she's moved on from that. She's in a position of resilience now. So yeah, resilience is going to be my 4th one.
There you go. What about you, Miss Jess?
I am going to steal his first one because compassion is huge. And you want to go?
No, go back.
Humility.
Humility
has to be. I knew she was going to say that. Has to be in there, because if we here, I'll let her tell it.
You're good to go.
We try to take credit for any of this, and then it becomes about us. Yeah. The second it becomes about me, then it becomes about feeling good. The second it becomes about feeling good, guess what Ben's going to do, right? Yeah. I'm going to go drink, man. So I can't do it. I can't do it. All right, now your turn. Sorry.
Well, compassion is one, because you have to be willing to. You have to feel something in order to do something. You have to feel that connection. You have to. I can't make words.
You got to be able to love people, man.
You have to be able to love people, which goes into my second one, which is service. You have to be of service, and I think God made us all to be of service in some way. He gives us all gifts that we can use, whether it's doing artwork, whether it's knowing how to do hair. We are given certain gifts, and we are to use those in the service of others. So service is the second one. My third one is, I don't remember what it was because you threw me off. Honesty, which I think those aren't actually in order, I don't think.
That's fine.
But honesty is a big one, because you have to be honest. And if you're bullshitting yourself, then you're not going to go far. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with other people. And if you're not, no one's going to believe you. You're not going to, you're just not going to go far in life. You have to be able to be honest with other people and yourself. And the fourth one, which is probably one of the top ones, is humility. You have to have a humble nature about you. You can't be proud. You can't be like, oh, look at this. I did that. You didn't. You didn't do that. God helped you do that. Whether you believe in him or not, he helped you do that. And if anything, if you don't believe in him, he's trying to bring you closer to him. You know, you just got to be humble. And like Ben said, if you make it about you, and I know if I get prideful and I'm like, look what I did, and I think I'm on top of the world and I think I'm better than anyone, I lose that compassion. I lose the will to serve. I'm serving myself.
Ooh. Oh, that's deep.
And I never want to do that, you know, because I know as soon as I start serving myself and patting myself on the back, I'm going to think that I'm above addiction. I'm going to think that I'm above you and everybody else, and I'm going to go get some crack because I can do that because I'm above all of y'all, and I'm not going to get addicted again, you know. And it's just a very slippery slope. That was a really long answer.
No, that was
I actually need one more though.
Oh, one more. Let me think.
Make it longer.
What did I say? Integrity. Like Ben said. I don't even know how to explain that, but you have to be of good mindset. You can't say one thing and not do it. You have to be there. If you say you're going to do something, then damn it, go do it. Don't be shady. Don't be flaky. You know, and you can't act one way on social media and be an asshole in the streets, you know, or you can't. There's so much that can go into integrity, and I can't even put words to it. You want to add on to that too? Well, you said integrity.
I did. And integrity is a big one. In this line of work in particular, you know, if you may only get one shot at saving somebody. And if you have bullshitted them and they catch you on that, that may be the only time they ever ask for help. And then you can kill them.
It's life or death.
It is life or death out here. You know, so being able to follow through on promises you make, commitments you make, it all matters. She made me think of something when she's talking on humility. Even if it doesn't get to that extreme where we're back to serving ourselves and relapsing, there's one step down which I almost feel is even more dangerous, and that's sitting on our laurels with a sense of accomplishment, like I've done my work. Our work is never done. And the second I stagnate, dude, it's all over. It's all, you've seen me on LinkedIn. I'm constantly saying new thing. And I have to. It's just, I have to keep going, doing more for now. And I had, humility is a big thing in the recovery community. They say the ego is the number one offender that sends, or actually is it resentments. Ego is the red flag guy. Ego's a bad deal, man. It's a bad deal. It serves nobody well.
I love the messages that you put on LinkedIn. You become viral because you hold the sign up and it says something great. You drop some gems, bro. I ain't gonna lie. And I know you'll be hurting some feelings too. And I love that even more. Shout out to LinkedIn. But I love your daily motivational quotes like that. I always keep up with them. And so, how you've been asked this before, and at different levels, but how do you get the trust of people that don't have trust to give anymore?
Oh, it's simple, dude. You meet basic needs. That's it. That's all there is. And that can look a lot of different ways. You saw one of them today. We're feeding people, meeting the basic needs, by giving them a meal. You go into a new homeless camp and you take a carton of Newports, you're everybody's best friend. Everybody. That is instantaneous, because what it tells them a couple things. One, you're not, and this is not a knock. Church groups will come out to these camps all the time. Church groups, and this is a great thing that they do. But they get taken advantage of. People bleed them. They tell them what they want to hear, so they keep giving them food, money, or whatever, right? When I go out there with a carton of Newports, they know two things. I'm not a church group, and I've been in their shoes. And so right off the bat, they know I know a little something, and that opens up the door to having a conversation about why are you in this camp? Why are you living in a tent, bro? Why are you out here shooting dope? Why are you turning tricks? And so it's little things like that just show people you've been where they're at without even having to explain. It opens the door for that conversation. And then once we have a conversation going, that human connection kicks in, and then trust it's going to follow automatically. In neighborhoods like this, trust is currency. Like, seriously. It's how everything gets accomplished. You burn it, you're done. You burn it, you're done. But this is a very trust-depleted community. It's a high-stakes community. People are used to living in fight or flight, And the only way you get past that is through trust. And trust for us is always built through human connection, through meeting basic needs. That's the entry point, right?
And it's from we keep coming back.
Constant
That's
presence.
another thing. Constant presence. We don't just show up and here's some coats, here's some food, bye-bye, now I'm going to my nice house in Georgia. You know, we keep showing up. We keep letting people know we're going to keep coming back for you. If you're not ready today, if you're not ready tomorrow, hell, if you're not ready next week, that's cool. I'm going to see you next month. I'm going to keep coming back until you have finally hit rock bottom and you're finally ready. And that's another thing too, because people don't, if they just see you like one day and they don't know you, they're not going to feel comfortable coming to you and be like, oh, I need help, you know, I'm a heroin addict, da-da. They're not going to tell you that. You keep showing up, you keep showing your face, they're like, okay, maybe this bitch really does care. Yeah. Maybe she does care. And then that's when you start reeling them in and you're gaining that trust one little visit at a time. Sometimes, and this is going to be a little controversial to say, and some people aren't going to like it, but there have been times where I have given $20 to a prostitute. I know where that money's about to go. I know they're about to smoke that shit up. But it's making them feel human. They feel like they know that they're seen. They know that I see them as a human and not just some junkie on the street. And so that $20 that I know that they're going to go smoke up, the next time I see them, yes, they might come ask me for money.
Right.
And they will.
They will. But
it happened today,
but
actually.
they know you know what's up.
But they know I know what's up. And you know what? One of the prostitutes that I gave that $20 to a couple of months back, she asked me to go to detox today. Now, I couldn't get her in detox because it's Sunday today. But Marcus, I contacted him. We're going to contact him and her on three-way on Monday. She's going into treatment. So those little things, those little $20 you know they're going to smoke up, it's gaining that trust. If it takes $20 a crack to do it, to save a life, I'll do it sometimes. And that, you know, that's controversial to a lot of people. You know, they're like, you're just helping their habit. You're just, you know, you're making it worse. But, you know, if it takes that to get a little trust, to get someone clean, I'm willing to do that.
And then that act she just described of a prostitute being willing to accept help, that particular prostitute, and this is true in a lot of cases, is a thorn in a lot of people's sides right now. And when they see you willing to help that person, you've now gained the trust of that circle of dope boys that are wondering, is she going to get picked up and arrested and flip on us? Well, no, not now, because Jess just got her clean. You know, and so now they know we're not here to send people to jail. We're not here to drive roll-ups or busts. We're literally here trying to help people out. And we actually had a dope boy who ended up shot off on his own dope call us not long ago he's in rehab now, and I'm helping him with a criminal case he's got. Like, it's so the trust starts with the simplest of things, but it snowballs.
I never thought about it like that, but hence the reason I ask. I love it. I want to thank both of you for not only your time, but also your consideration, allowing me to fly in from Houston.
Dude, we're just grateful you're here.
Be part of your event. Wonderful people that I met. Everybody welcome me with open arms. Casey is a delight to coordinate all this through with, and all your team overall. The camera is all yours. Any last message each one of you want to leave the audience with? If somebody's out there battling with an addiction or comes to a realization they need help with something, I don't know if you have any words for them.
This is Ben. He's so good at this.
No, I'm not. Oh, goodness. Man, I got a couple things. So if you are battling addiction right now, or you're living any sort of a life you don't want to live, there is help out there, I promise. I am an easy guy to track down on social media. I'm not always the easiest to get a hold of, but try. Jump in the comments, tag me, tag Casey, tag her. We can't do the work for you, but we can definitely show you how we escaped a life we didn't want to live. And if you're open to following some suggestions, we got you. Second, and I get this question a lot. Well, let me back up on that one. On the dope thing, dude, life does not have to be this hard. You do not have to live this way anymore. If you want out, there's a way out, and it works, I promise. And I will show you how I did it. Okay. Now, another question I get asked a lot is how do people do what we do? You know, they see the counter trafficking work we do, and they're like, that looks cool. I want to start that in my community. there's not like a really easy way to just start that up. What I would say do, and I'm going to tell everybody, if you want to get involved in combating narcotics trafficking, inner city violence, addiction, sex trafficking, child trafficking, any of these things that are plaguing so many of our cities in America right now, go to your county's drug court program, mental health court, veterans court, any recovery court. Find out if your county has one. And that needs to be your very first stop, because those courtrooms, more often than not, are going to be the first place that a sex trafficking victim, an addict, or a drug dealer ends up having contact with law enforcement. And their sole purpose in existing is to keep fixable people from going to prison. And that right there is the crux of what we do. We're trying to keep good people not only out of prison, we're trying to put them back into the streets to reach that next man or woman. So that was really long way. You got to remember, I got crippling ADHD. I'm going to get there, I promise. Go talk to your drug court and ask them if there's any volunteer opportunities. If you already are an addict in recovery, congratulations, you get a leg up on this. Go hit some meetings and start talking to everybody. Go to your drug court, be like, look, here's who I am. I got this long clean. I want to do X, Y, and Z. Check out We Fight Monsters. I want to bring that here. All right, you start with the court, and then the next step is you're going to go to law enforcement. You're going to tell them the exact same thing. You feel free to drop our name, show them all of our stuff. We've got a great track record here, man. I've lost count of how many people we've gotten off the streets back into the workforce and no longer committing crimes, and every elected official should care about that. Your county should help you do this. Your city should help you fund it. Hey, guess what, though? 12-step recovery works. Don't be like me and take 30 years to actually try it. Alcoholics Anonymous, Cocaine Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, pick your A. I qualify for all of them. Just go to a meeting. Give it up, dude. Get a sponsor. Work the steps. Live a better life. Thanks for attending my TED Talk, the end. I've been self-employed for 20 years. I worked at a Fortune 500, and then I left that to get a job making more money in medical device sales, and then realized I could make even more being self-employed. So don't wait until you're ready to start your own business to do it. That's like number one. You're never going to be ready. You need to take that risk. Start it as a side hustle. I can't even count how many times we've started a side hustle. Just get a Shopify store. It's so easy to make a website and just start selling stuff, and then it becomes the main hustle. And then the next thing you know, you got like 6 more of them. Human connection, your ability to connect with another human being matters more than your education ever will. I have a college degree. I don't use it at all. I had to use it to get that Fortune 500 job. Other than that, it was needless debt. Your ability to understand other people's needs and wants, how to solve problems, those are the things that make a successful entrepreneur out of the gates. The next thing, and this is unpopular, we have this persona of the Instagram millionaire, that works 4-hour days and sits on the beach. Dude, that's not real. That's not real. Not in my experience. And I've been self-employed for 20 years. You only have to work half days to be successful as an entrepreneur, okay? Now, it's totally up to you if that's the first 12 hours of the day or the second 12 hours of the day, but you're going to work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for years.
Inevitable.
You like that?
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time, man. And the partner you bring into that venture with you is going to make or break you. I could not do what I do without her. And so if your marriage is not able to withstand entrepreneurship, it's going to end badly for both of you. So, if you're going into the journey of starting a business, make sure your spouse is on board, make sure you're aligned, make sure your kids understand. I mean, it's a haul, but just don't give up. Keep pushing. Did I forget anything on that?
I don't know. I love a quote that you dropped in another video. I can't remember which one. Don't waste your suffering.
That is a big thing that I say a lot. I think because I endured so much of it when I was little, and then in addiction and in AA and pretty much in the field that we work in, you see a lot of people that will use that as an excuse. Everything's an excuse. Oh, I grew up with trauma. Oh, my mom was an addict. Bitch, me too. You know what I mean? So get off your ass, quit whining, and put that to work. Put it in the service of others. God didn't create the trauma, but He allowed us to go through it. We all have free will. We all do. That's why there's murder. That's why there's all these bad things. But bad shit happens. Use it. use it for good, use it to help others. And that's really my huge thing, is I can't stand whiners. Don't come whining to me, tell me what you've been through. If it just happened, that's cool, get it out of your system, then get to work. Get your ass to work. And that's my big thing. You can tell he's the nice one.
We like
he's the
to
nice
focus,
one.
We like to focus on solutions, not problems.
Yeah, problems get you nowhere.
It's that I have a very low tolerance for victimhood. But I can't have that conversation with most people because I put myself in every bad situation I was ever in, So I have to let her have it. And unfortunately for the people that are in that conversation, she's a lot less tactful than I am. But her point is solid as shit. Don't waste your suffering, man. You lived through it for a reason. Go do something with that. Yeah. Go do something with it.
Once again, it was a delight. Thank you so much for the time of you both. I hope that the way you have kept and now remain so compassionate, so caring, I hope that whoever's around you gets infected with that and keeps passing it along. Jess, Ben, thank you so much. Thank you for everything you're doing. I know y'all don't like to take the credit, but it does make a lot of difference, and people are watching you, people are noticing you, especially the young, the future of this area. And once again, thank you for your time. I'm extremely appreciative of y'all inviting me and allowing me to share your story, and more better things are yet to come. I don't know that you have something in the works.
We're grateful.
Thank you.
We're grateful as could be. Thank you. Seriously.
You guys. Once again, Starter Motivation, Ben, Jess, fighting monsters together. Please join their cause. I'll tag their organizations, their social medias, everything below. Once again, I'm your host, Jaco. I need you to think about that. Peace.